Today we are talking about one of the coolest cameras I have ever used. This is the latest camera by Insta360 called the Insta360 Go 2. I've had this little guy for an entire month and today is launch day so I can finally show it to you. Let's take a look at some of the footage, then we will get into what really makes this camera so great. Now, I'm not a professional videographer or photographer, I just love making videos, so I don't really know what all the tech and the specs actually mean, and to be honest, I don't really care. All I want is for the camera to work and give me footage for whatever project I'm currently working on. So when I review a camera, my whole thought comes down to, will I use it and will the footage from the camera really make my work easier and better? So let's talk about what comes in the box because they give you some really great accessories to get you started. First, you get this magnetic pendant for your first person view shots. You tuck this down in your shirt and when you're ready to record, just tap it on and you're ready to go. This is great for those immersive shots, bringing your viewers into what you are doing, like they are there themselves, yet without having to wear some big bulky chest mount. You get this easy clip that can be attached to your hat or headband and gives you the flexibility to adjust where the camera is actually looking. This is a great addition to the pendant magnet because where one looks straight ahead with no adjustments, this one can be vertically adjusted. You also get this pivot stand. The camera, like the others, magnets into it and it can be held or you can remove the bottom and stick it to something. Also, since the camera is waterproof, you can use this for those underwater shots. Then finally you get the camera case and well, this is just cool. First, it is just barely larger than my AirPod Pro case, but this does a lot more than just charge. It can be fastened to tripods or car mounts by screwing it on like any other camera. Small legs fold out, making it a small tripod, which is extremely useful and convenient. When you open up the case, right away you see a small screen and a few buttons. Here you can control the camera switching between camera modes, which are photos, video pro mode, time shift, time lapse, HDR video, slow motion, and then you also have your settings. The button on the left is your record button, and the button on your right, as you just saw, is your option select button. The camera magnetically connects into the case with a strong magnet. You just grab it by the lens protector that comes on the camera and it easily comes out. The case also acts as a remote, so when the camera is detached from the case, you can still change the settings and start and stop shooting. More on this later. As far as the battery time goes, the camera outside of its case will run for 20 minutes of recording on Pro mode and 30 minutes on basic video mode. Not to worry though, because the case is capable of charging the camera 3.5 times from 0 to 100% before needing to charge itself. If recording inside the case, you get 110 minutes of recording on Pro video mode and 150 minutes on basic video mode. I'll put the rest of the specs down below in the description to make it a little easier for you to see. Speaking of this, there are 3 ways to start shooting. You can use the case like we just covered. You can hit record from the app using the live preview, or you can begin recording right from the camera. When you press the front button, you get a nice click, then a light comes on and starts kind of pulsing, along with a decent vibration letting you know recording has started. So now let's actually talk about the recording experience. This camera is all about convenience and just being there for you when you're on the go. You can customize the camera so when you click the record button, it records for a set amount of time, anywhere from 15 seconds to 30 minutes in length. If you don't want to record for the full time, just press the button again and it'll stop recording. This is great for capturing moments and telling stories because all you have to do when you want to capture something is just press the button and forget about it. You don't need to worry about stopping the recording so you don't fill up the storage or waste battery. Just press it again when you are ready to start next time and the camera will be ready to shoot. I find that most of my shots when I'm out there doing things with my life, doing sports, things with my kids, capturing moments for my YouTube channel, they're all just small 10-15 second clips that I need anyway, so this really works out well. You don't have to worry about orientation with this camera due to a feature called Horizon Lock, which is what makes it so unique to other small action cameras. Just put the camera to Pro video mode and no matter how much you move around, the camera footage will always be level. Mount it to your car, your bike, your chest, move all around, it doesn't matter. The horizon will always be level. Because the camera is magnetic, you can mount it to anything metal, giving you more opportunities for capturing clips without worrying about a tripod or where to place the camera. For example, if you make workout videos in the gym, you can clip it to a piece of exercise equipment. You can mount it to the hood of your car while doing an install or maintenance, or your workbench to capture clips from different angles. This leaves you with all sorts of creative options. I love getting multiple angles for my videos while recording, but this can be a bit difficult due to restrictions on where I can actually put the larger cameras. So in times when I'm shooting with my main camera, I can put this all over and just tap it for a quick 15-second shot to act as a beautiful B-roll camera. Take for example when I'm doing an install in my car. Each time I'm at a critical part of the install, I can just reach over and tap the button for the footage and get back to my work knowing that the video will stop after 15 seconds and it'll be ready to go next time I need a shot. The camera is also waterproof up to 4 meters or 13 feet, which is a IPX8 rating up from its IPX4 water resistant rating on its predecessor, the Insta360 Go. This will be great for all you social media types as you record your adventures. It is also great for recording here in Washington where we tend to get a little rain. It also allows you to get a little creative with your shots and tell stories as you go along, being able to drop it into bowls or whatever you like doing. One feature that really surprised me was just how well the flow state stabilization worked. I'd seen it on their other cameras, but I figured with such a small camera, how good could it actually be? Now, stabilization is an area that action cameras have been improving on rapidly for years now, and this camera is no exception. Whether I was recording in my car or walking through the woods, the video was buttery smooth. I decided to really test this out and mounted it to my bike while driving on gravel, and well, you can see the outcome. I wouldn't take this out downhill mountain biking like I do with my Insta360 One X2 camera because I would be worried the magnets wouldn't really hold some of those hard drops or bumps. But I hope someday there is a mount for this because I would love to just tap that button before dropping down a hill or going off a jump without having to really remember to turn the camera off on the boring parts. Audio on small action cameras have never really impressed me, and with the camera this small, I wasn't expecting much, but the first time I played it back, I was impressed. So this is what the audio sounds like walking in the middle of the woods, middle of the day, nice weather, no extra editing, no mics, no post editing. So this camera only has one mic looking at you, and from what I hear, it's pretty good. So this is me in the bathroom moving around the camera. Audio is in front of me, mic is in front of me. So here's what it sounds like inside of my office. Not sure what this really sounds like right now, but this is what an office is like. This room is, I don't know, maybe 13 by 15. So when the camera's facing forward and I'm to the side of it, this is what it sounds like. How well does it capture the audio? In the car, this is where I would be using it a lot as I'm doing things and showing things here in my Tesla. This is one of the most challenging spots for these small cameras with all the ricocheting of sound around, so be curious to see how this one sounds. You are able to record slow motion shots in up to 120 frames per second, which is always good for those fun shots, adding so much to your video creativity. I love using slow motion when I can, and 120 frames per second gives me plenty to work with. Now, this camera shoots both hyperlapse and time-lapse shots. The real difference here is with a time-lapse shot, you have your camera mounted in a static position, like on a tripod, with everything around it moving, where with the hyperlapse shot, the camera is consistently moving and changing angles, as well as other objects or people around you also moving. Oftentimes with the hyperlapse, you will focus the camera on a moving object like someone in front of you while recording the shot. With the time-lapse, you can easily do this with just the built-in tripod case. Just pull the legs out and hit record. With the hyperlapse, this is equally as easy. Just mount it to your car like I did here, or if you are out hiking, just snap it onto your pendant and start walking. These types of shots, whether you're a professional or hobbyist, can add so much to your videos. Now let's get back to that camera case. One of the features that I have grown to love this past month of using this is the remote function. Set up the camera using the pivot stand or by magnet, and when you are ready, set the camera to whatever setting mode that you want and just simply hit record on the case. You can start and stop it from the remote or just let it time out. This is a really great feature for when you have the camera up where you can't reach it easily, or if you are taking a family photo, but more importantly, if you have it mounted outside of the case somewhere, this is how you can change and edit the modes without having to put it back in the case or getting on your phone. Maybe you finally got the angle just right and want to do a time lapse for your first shot, then a slow motion shot for the next. Just leave the camera where it's at, change the modes in between, and control it all from the case. Now, for those of you who have or are comparing this camera to the Insta360 Go, which is the predecessor of this one, let me share a few of the differences that we haven't talked about yet. We already covered the camera now being waterproof up from being just water resistant. The image quality gets an improved sensor with a 1440p and 50 frames per second output, up from the 1080p at 30 frames per second with the previous model. The maximum runtime is now 150 minutes, up from 60 minutes, and of course, this is while recording from inside the charging case. The onboard storage gets a huge increase, up from 8 gigs on the Go to 3.2 gigs on the Go 2. And the Go 2 is now able to record in HDR mode. You get all these upgrades to the camera plus the new accessories and case for a new price of $299 plus tax. Now let's talk about the Insta360 app, because this is a big part of the camera. They do have a desktop editing program, but I'm not going to cover that in this video. The app is truly incredible because it's easy and quick, yet full of editing tools. You start by selecting the clip you actually want to edit. Then go in and trim it to the moments you want, and yes, I said moments. You can select multiple moments in a single clip that you want, and then it'll join them all together. You can also have the AI do this for you, where it compiles what it feels are the key moments in your clips. This actually works pretty well, and is a great way to get a video out into your social media platform really quickly after creating a bunch of neat shots. Next, you can set the aspect ratio depending on if you're going to be using it for YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. You can change the view from wide all the way down to narrow. You can add face filters, which I never really mess with, and I think work better when you are looking right at the camera. If you are building your story for social media, right here in the app, you can add music with all their built-in music. The app will also use this AI to find the most fitting music for you and make suggestions. You can adjust the speed to any parts of the clip, both faster and slower depending on what you're trying to illustrate in that moment. You can save a snapshot and make all sorts of adjustments to your image, such as contrast and sharpness. Then you can head over to Stories, select the clips that you want, make some final edits like adding transitions, then export it to your Photos app, where you can then upload to your favorite social media sites. Here is a quick video I made for YouTube Stories yesterday in response to a viewer's question.
Learned something new about my new screen in my car. Let's go out to the garage real quick and I'm going to show you this. By the way, look at all that stuff I got to build. Wife shopping at IKEA. Okay, so you all know you've seen the screen here. We got the normal screen, but then we got the new Tesla screen right there. This is one from Hanshao. Watch what I learned. Go up here into the Bluetooth settings, and in here I was able to actually connect it to the screen. So now the screen works with Tesla Auto. So I can use CarPlay to play music on my Tesla speaker system. It's pretty awesome.
I personally use most of these shots on YouTube, so my time with the app is very short. I just pull up the clip I want, trim it down to the footage I want to actually use. Once I have all my clips edited that I want from the camera, I then download those to my phone and then airdrop them all to my computer, where I then bring them over to Final Cut Pro. The process is very easy, very simple, and editing it on the phone is very quick. When I first got this, I was thinking, you know, I always have a camera with me anyway, so what is a camera that would be super easy to take with me? What's that really going to gain me? And this is what I set out to challenge myself with over the last month. And I found they really just don't compare. I certainly don't walk around with my GoPro in my pocket all the time. I found this little guy is so inconspicuous. It's nothing for me to just keep it in my pocket, and then when I want to record something, to snap it right here to my pendant that's underneath my shirt so it's not in everyone's face, and just a quick tap and I'm recording, tap again and it's not, or just let it time out depending on how I have the settings. I found just keeping it snapped in there like this and recording by just simply holding it, tap, record this moment, go on to the next part, tap, record this next moment, go to the next part, tap it again, close it up when I'm done, put it in my pocket, walk away, is so easy that I'm actually capturing things I always wanted to, but just never did because of the hassle. Then being able to quickly take it and send it up onto social media just like that, or export it to my computer to add as a B-roll camera to my other footage, it's just not something I was expecting, but very, very happy with. So who buys this camera? Who's this camera actually designed for? I thought about this a lot, and it's pretty hard to find someone it's not for. Obviously, it's not going to replace your professional photography cameras, but every videographer knows that there are a lot of shots they just don't want to go set up for. They don't have to be the pristine, perfect shot. They just need to get a separate angle from a weird, awkward position. And this buddy camera is so convenient because of how much charge this case holds, how convenient it is, and how easy it is to get it in place. So for a buddy companion, for a videographer, it is by far the best one I've ever seen. Obviously for the hobbyist, the guy that's gonna go out and just record their day, make some shots for social media, record some footage for their YouTube videos, I have yet to find a camera as convenient and quick as this one. But this camera is not for the hardcore action guy. Like I mentioned, you would never want to take this thing 100 miles an hour strapped onto your car. You wouldn't want to place this in a spot where you'd be having huge impacts where it could detach itself from the case or from your mounts that you have. you'd certainly never want to clip it to your chest and go skiing down the mountain. Although I have tested the magnet repeatedly and not really had any issues with it falling off, I've never actually put it in a situation where I would be rolling down a mountain or I could fall off my bike or something and have this just sort of fall right off as I roll on the ground or snow or something. And you lose this thing in the snow, you're not finding it. This of course could change with a proper case. I just haven't seen it yet. If it's out there, and I certainly don't have it. Insta360 has other cameras designed for those more aggressive action sports. But for me, this is the camera from now on I'll always take with me whenever I go somewhere. I just grab it, take my shots as I need them, store them in the camera, get back to my spot where I can actually do some editing, adjust some clips, throw it up on social media, save it for a YouTube video down the road. It's become my go anywhere camera. So I hope you enjoyed this review and the footage of this. If you found this entertaining, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. And of course, because it requires no effort on your part, just hit that like button for me. That really helps the YouTube algorithm to keep this video flowing. Thanks again for watching and stick around for some more footage from this camera.